Hi, my name is Shenea, and this is the story of how I lost my family.
Two friends from an island in the Caribbean set out on a journey to find inspiring stories told by the persons who live them.
So with a camera bag and an open mind, they learned that the best part of life is not the destination, but
The journey.
Alright, so the first word that would come to anybody's mind when they say Shenea is normally strong. Ha. Strong. There was a time when I was a little girl growing up. I had my father. I had my mother. I was a stubborn little girl. I think I still am. But I loved my father, and I think I loved my father more than I loved my mom when I was smaller. I love my father because as a typical young girl or a typical child, you always gravitate to the parent that always says yes. My father always says yes. I never get a no yet. But my mother, no. No, Shenea, you can't do this. No, you can't go outside. Why you need to go outside? But daddy, yeah man, go on, make sure go on. So of course, I gravitate to my father more because I can get out things more. And I remember one day I went outside and mommy said I wasn't supposed to go outside. But daddy said, go on man, come on, me go and work and stuff. So I said, go on. So I said, alright. Went outside, playing with my neighbors and stuff, and we were dancing. And from a little girl, I've had this care, I guess, looking out for persons. And I remember my friend was flicking, and I was standing behind her because it's like, hey, I'm gonna stand behind you just in case you fall, I can catch you. Still regret it up to this day, but yes, I went behind her, and it happened that her heel caught me in my eye. So at first it was like, oh my gosh, she got taken in the eye, and we're like, yeah, woo, hooray, and then everything was fine. But then it wasn't after until the swelling started, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is serious. At first I had allergies in my eyes, so I had an eye drop. So when I came upstairs to daddy, he was like, oh, just drop the eye drop in there. So I'm like, okay, of course, look at me, don't know, say it can't just be an eye drop to drop in the eye. So we had choir practice that evening. Mommy was still at work. She just got the call that, I got a hit in my eye and he just dropped the eye drop. So she was like, oh, it's not that serious. All right, then cool. So she came to church and we were there. When she saw me, I remember this like it was yesterday. When she saw me, she just started crying. I'm like, I say, why should I cry? Why is this lady crying? And my eye's fine. And she explained to me that when she saw my eye, it was not okay. One of my eyes were closed, black and blue. So of course she had to bring me to the doctor instantly. Long story short, more glasses just because of that. But I think that was one of the ways I experienced the love for my mother. I was like, but still prefer for my father. And if anybody knows me growing up, he called me wash belly because I was the last one, and I was the last one for him, and I was the only girl for him, but I was the only child for my mom. I was told that I had two brothers. One had died. I would say they said it was some shooting incident, and another one was alive. The other one was alive, but he was poisoned by his friends. Something was thrown in his drink, and from ever since he was mad. So he was a madman on the road. So growing up in high school, I would see him on the road, and my priority for him was to buy food, not letting him know who I was, but just to buy food to give him, because I would see him on the road every Friday. We always say that, the Lord always does a lot of things to challenge us and to channel us in a way. And I remember in 2008, or I say 2007, my father got ill. In 2007, Daddy got sick. He was diagnosed with cancer, and that's where my life started to take a downhill. I remember one night we were in the room and we were trying to get him to respond. He was not responding, and we were like, what is happening? But of course, still a little girl, man, saying, I think that time I was in grade 6. I was about to do GSAT, and so it was really rough. And I remember, I used to have 2 uniforms, just 2 uniforms for primary school. So what used to happen is, if I wear one today, mommy comes home and wash that one, and then I wear the other one. So the cycle. So because of school, I only got to see him, because he was admitted at KPH, I only got to see him on the weekends, which would have only been Saturday and Sunday. I remember on Friday, mommy did get to wash the uniform the Thursday evening for me to go to school the Friday. So because she was tired, because every day she was back and forth from the hospital and stuff. So she said to me that, she's very tired and she can't wash the uniform now, so I'm just going to come to the hospital with her on the Friday. So I was like, all right, cool. Love that. So we went, spent the entire day with him, visiting hours and so, feed him, we ate, we chat, we laugh, everything. Until in the night, he started to vomit blood. So we're like, all right, cool. Start vomit blood, what does this mean? Because of course, as look at me, what does this mean? My father vomit blood, what that mean? What that could have possibly mean? I just know say it never right, but what is it saying? And we came home the night. No, that same evening, I remember him telling my mom that she should wait on him. Still never know what that means. But alright, cool, wait on him, cool. Saturday morning now, we normally get up for church, so they had told us that they're going to discharge him the Saturday. So we got up and we said we sat in the couch saying that we're going to fix up the house so that him feel welcome when him come home. And we were just so excited. He had a car, so at that age, yes, I could drive. So I used to move the car from a particular spot to another spot in the mornings for it to get shade and stuff. So that was one of my duties that he made sure I needed to do when he was not able to do it. And I remember getting up that morning, I went downstairs, I took the key, I went into the car, started the car, and I heard a phone ring. So, in the whole heat of the process of what is happening, it's just the norm to just listen out to what is going to happen, or if you're going to hear anything, what is it? So I stopped, I listened, I didn't hear anything. So I continued parking the car, and then I heard a loud scream. So I was like, all right, it doesn't sound like it was coming from my house, but nevertheless, let me still check if that was mommy. So came up the stairs, and she just greeted me at the door to say, your father gone. No, lady, my father what? Mother, my father is what? Never clicked yet. I just knew that I cried a lot, and I called a close family friend of ours that I called my sister same time to express what had happened. And then we made our way to the hospital because she asked the nurses not to move him. So we made our way. We're there, I guess, saying our goodbyes and stuff. And I think that's when reality had hit to say that, I'm not going to be able to see my father again. Anyway, so that was cancer, yeah? And he had pancreatic cancer. Yeah. So, as I said, after the death of my father, or from he got sick, that's where my life started to go downhill, as I would think. So, high school is about to start. My father used to be the one who does the finances of the house and all them stuff. He was an electrician. So in the process of, doing the house, because he was the one doing the wiring for the house and stuff, he wanted to give the tenants a different meter. So he was in the process of doing that for it to get passed and so, but of course he got sick, so that did pass. But of course we didn't know what was happening because he was very secretive as well. So it wasn't until JPS claimed to say that we were, something never right. So we got a very nice bill and the light was cut. Now with my mom alone and me, it was very rough for her. I know we got help and stuff, but it was still very rough and it was like a hefty bill. Yeah. So it took time. So I remember going to our neighbor's house. They were so nice to allow us on the weekends to iron my uniforms and stuff. But growing up throughout my high school years, all of my high school years, I didn't have electricity. A lot of persons wouldn't know. I think this is the first time I'm seeing it like publicly, but I didn't have electricity, so the street light was my light for homework, or the lamp, our nice home sweet home lamp. Yeah. So going to school, I have to hide to carry my phone to school because I have to charge it. I have to find a way to charge it, or carry my laptop to school to find a way to charge it, so that when I have homework to do, I have enough battery life to save me to do the homework in the night and stuff. So this was from all of my high school years, so that's 5 years, and 2 years of UTech, so that's 7 years, that's all? Yeah, 7 full years without light. So, and also because of this, I really didn't like coming home, like coming home. So I normally try to find something to do with friends. So even if I come home, it's just like to come home to, I'm tired now, so I go just bill and sleep. It was that kind of thing, because the heat, then I poor mom lives, so the mosquito them, so we have to lock up from the mosquito them, and it was just a whole lot. But all of 7 years. Throughout it all, still the jovial Shenea. You never know what's happening, and I think that's one of the gifts that I have. If I don't want you to know what is happening in my life, you won't know. So you know what I want you to know. Because mommy normally say that, you remind me so much of your father. You just, sometimes if you don't want to talk about it, it's just final. I don't want to talk about it, and if I want to share it, I'm going to share it. And because of that now, because of what my mom and I went through growing up in high school, I know it was hard for her. I know it was really, really hard. But in spite of it all, we did a lot. Because of everything that we went through, especially as it relates to the journey without the light, we really never have a choice than to bond, because it was just us. Because there was no light in the house, we used to just sleep in the same bed because we don't want to be separated, just in case anything is supposed to happen. We wanted to be together. So we would fall asleep, telling each other like what happened in the day, and just having random conversations and what we plan to do for future. One of the things that we always spoke about was my wedding. She couldn't wait for me to get married, because I don't have to worry, because she be the one to take care of it and all of these things. But yeah, so I guess really and truly because of that journey and because of what we went through, our bond was thicker than there was no tomorrow. So anywhere you see mommy, you saw me. And so I went through high school years, then on to UTech for, I think in my second year now we're there, and then we were able to pay off the money to JPS and everything. And then I remember getting a call from her. I think I was at school the day, and she called me and she said, she never call me Bugsy, but she's like, Bugsy, you know the like come back. I'm like, what? And she's like, yes. I was like, oh, we're gonna celebrate this because this is a huge deal. And she said she didn't know what like come back. I said, nice. So came home now and stuff and saw light in the house, but at first she only had on the room light. She only had on the room light. So I was like, all right, cool. So I said, light really in the house. So I walk and turn on all the light in the house, like every single light. I walk and turn on. I didn't realize the light really there. I just walk and lock them off back, and I'm like, yikes, this is kind of strange. I don't know how to react. So we literally went pitch black again in the house because we just never know how to deal with that. And we laughed about it. And we're like, man, it just feels good to go back to, a little normal, that normal feel. So anyway, life happened. We moved on. Everything going on smooth and dandy, and then boom, I was still at UTech. I think this is my third year now. It would have been my third year. Still at UTech, and then I remember I have a father figure. After my father died, a lot of persons stepped in, but I had this specific gentleman that I call my father, which is GT. I still met him. So I remember that I was by him one Sunday, and she called me because we normally either would text or we call just to check up on each other and so, because we're back to normalcy in a way. So she called and she said she just don't feel good, her belly hurting her. So I'm say, normal Jamaican talk, if your belly hurting, I guess just drink some tea and everything was normal. So she said she drank some tea already, but it just not feel the same way. So I was like, all right, just watch it. So the next day now she called me and she say she still feel weird. She still don't feel right. So it clearly is not gas, but she's like, it will pass. And I'm like, mommy, if you're feeling this way, that means I need to go to the doctor, because if you drink the tea, that means it's not gas because you don't feel better. So it has to be something else. And what is it? We need to know what it is. So this is after pushing and pushing and pushing. I said, mommy, I need to go to the doctor. And she went to the doctor. And I don't quite remember what they had said at the moment, what was happening to her. But it was something with her stomach. I remember that clearly. So it was something with her stomach. And then, once again, my life started to go downhill. So at this point in time now, she was getting really sick. We didn't know what was happening at the time, and she just started to feel a lot of pain. As the days picked up and things started to get worse, I remember she had to do a lot of tests, and we had to do a lot of things. And at this point in time, she was out from work because she was about to retire. So homegirl here had to pick her shoes up and start working. So that's when I got a job at JMMB, which I am truly grateful for. Orientation and the whole process of, getting, what most persons will go through when they're joining a company and stuff. I met two special persons in my life, and I don't think they know how special they are in my life because of what they did for me in that time. And that's Clyde and Sandy. I remember most times going to orientations, it's overwhelming because at this point in time, work in the morning, then school in the afternoon, and with all of this, I had to make sure that mommy was okay. So she had medications and she had to change her whole diet. So that would mean me getting up in the mornings, preparing whatever it is she's supposed to eat, and making sure that everything was there for her to get at the appointed time. I remember they were those two persons were persons I actually spoke with to some extent of how I was feeling. Sometimes because sometimes I was, I think, late, or sometimes I had some difficulties, and they were the two persons that were like, Shenea, like them backbone kind of feeling, the back, and you just feel like somebody's just there where you can lean on. Those are the two persons at the time. And I'm like, I thank God for them. I am very grateful that He placed them in my life. I'm telling you something. God showed Himself through some people. Through this journey that I've been through, He had placed some people in my life that I couldn't understand why they were in my life. What was the purpose until this moment, or the moment that I'm about to speak about. And I remember going to Portmore branch at JMMB, and then again I got another support to lean on, and I'm like, God, where do? What is happening? What are you preparing me for? Because the support that I got from my Portmore family, it was just out of nowhere, especially from Michelle Whiteley. I just could not understand where this lady come from, and I could not understand the support that I was getting from JMMB. I just reach them, not know me. I just reaching at the company, so what is it about? And I remember sitting down one day and I'm like, God, what are you preparing me for? What is it I literally saw Him putting foundations and walls around me just to ensure that I would have been okay, and I had that support. And I'm gonna laugh because there's this song, Christopher Gale sings it, The Wall. I love that song so much because that was one of the songs that brought me through this journey, because I even set it as my alarm on my phone, my ringtone, because that was just the song. And I remember when everything just started to continue going downhill. I said, all right, this is what it is. The process that you went through, I thought, or I think I could have done more. I would have wanted to do more, but I think I did enough. I'm not sure, I don't know, but I would want to think that way. And I remember one day, she went down rapidly. I want to say rapidly, rapidly. Because at this moment now, we found out that she had cancer. She had, I think, rectum cancer. So at this moment, we're like, okay, so, we're trying to completely change the diet, completely do this, completely do that, to say, make her see if she can, hang on for a couple more years. And, boy, it was just, seeing my mother like that, I don't even know how to, it just wasn't her. And I guess because of the pain she was in, she reacted to things very harsh sometimes, but I mean, there are times when you just have to just understand that this is what she's going through, and what she really needs from you is the support. And there were times when we just couldn't take it. Like, I could not take seeing her like that. And I said, okay, the gist of it all, I still have to be there for her. For me, I was all that she had. So I just have to do what I have to do. So, as I say, work, then school, then home. Says that I never have time for nothing else, even though I try to occupy myself doing other things that kind of clear my mind sometimes, but it was just work and school. And then home. When you have somebody grieving, the words to say is not, it's going to be okay, or God knows best, even though we know that He knows best, but it's just not comforting words at that specific time.